Good morning. Welcome everyone to the Game Changing Work channel. Hi, I'm Veronica Stewart. I am a life coach, empower mindset and success coach, by the way. And Roxana.
Yeah, I'm Roxana from Perosnal, which is a company that helps leaders and teams build their own game-changing work. So that's what I do. I love helping organizations and leaders.
One day
teams.
We'll have an intro. We won't have to do this anymore.
Yeah, one day, but we love doing it live because that's that's our bit of improv every time.
So today, what we're going to actually be talking about, and this is our theme for the month of December, is really the jolly, having fun. Great thing for the holidays, right?
Yeah.
And so it is related to all of us that are in remote working today. Mm-hmm. And it's about games.
Yep. We have a top 10 today. So, and it's top 10 remote games with coworkers to build communication. And I have to start by saying, don't play games instead of communicating with your team properly. Games are not gonna be instead of that. They're not gonna be, don't use games as quick fixes. Use games to improve communication, to build on that. Don't use games just to, oh yeah, let's do, hey team, we need to do something fun. And then everybody feels like, oh yeah, really? I'm struggling here and now I need to have fun. How about talking about the real stuff before we play games?
And it's good that we address this. Let's just put the elephant in the room, right?
Because it's there already.
And before we get into the top 10, and these are just some things for you guys to think about, why it's important to have remote games. And some of the things that you will get as pushback, which I have experienced, when I was an agile coach, is, trying to do some of those team building exercises. Mm-hmm. And it's all about building relationships. So think back, and it's a lot easier for people to think personally and, what it feels. So I always say, use your senses, what it looks like, what you hear, what you feel, right? Touch, all the different senses of what happens when you're playing a game. Mm-hmm. And all those things that you experience either at a holiday party, sports with a group of people, playing Monopoly with your children. Think of all those types of events. And then as you step into the work life, the benefits and that feeling and what you could do with people is how you want to think and approach it. So even if you're somebody that just likes to play video games as a single person, you're still know what it's like to actually do something. Because most of I think the online games in the morning, we're actually on Twitch or Twitch, which is an online gaming platform. A lot of them are connected to a group of people while they're actually playing these online games. So there is communication and relationship that's actually happening. These games are so sophisticated these days. Mm-hmm. And I think that's important for us to, as we always say, there's no difference between personal and work, is to think and connect yourself to your life outside of you, leaving the office, remote or not, and what it does with your kids and other situations, and then take that perception into incorporating it into work games as we're about to talk about. I think that's important for us to address, is that we try to separate and say, oh, that's nonsense, it's not productive. But is it? Why do you play games with your children?
And why do you play games with your friends?
Exactly. So at the end of the day, you might be playing poker with your buddies, right? Every weekend. Doesn't that help you build relationship with your friends? You talk about things, but then also you probably learn how to be a better poker player. With your kids, you might be doing learning and educational things and activities with your kids. So not only are you building skill sets, right? You're also bonding and building a better relationship with your child.
Yeah.
So there's no difference when you go into work.
Exactly. There's no difference. And on top of that, and by the way, because which reminds me, on Friday we have the improv for business and how that benefits business. And it's this exercise which is called yes and. So whenever we're talking, we're basically using that exercise over and over again. Yes, and on top of that, what that builds is a it builds trust, because you get to see how people behave, how people react in a different kind of situation. And what games also do is they bring competition, but it's a different kind of competition. You will have uh, competitiveness among team members anyway, but that's how you build the healthy kind of competition, where yeah,
Yeah.
okay, I want to be better, but I also be better by helping others, because I'm not operating alone. That's where team games come in. And then if you finish together, then you win. If you don't finish together, you're disqualified. So
And
that's
it
what it
doesn't
does.
always have to be where there's two types of games that you can figure out. Some of these top 10s that we're going to talk about are really just more the disconnecting from work since it's the holidays. But I also want to talk about how you actually can design games that are related to your work. And that probably will be something that we can talk about in a different show. So if any of you that are interested in work-related gaming activities, put it in the comments. Let us know if that's something that you want us to talk about in another future show. But for today, we're going to talk about disconnecting because it's the holidays. I don't know about you, Roxana, but I'm getting ready to disconnect.
Look, look at me.
I think what is it? Next week is our last week for the month because we're going to disconnect, right? And allow time for family and enjoy the holiday.
Yeah.
So we're getting in that mode. And so let's jump into some of these disconnecting type of activities that you can do with your coworkers remotely. That gets you in the best time of the year, since everyone's already starting to get in that mode. I don't know about you, but everyone that I talk about in the client engagement that I have right now, it's been very challenging because I'm winding down my coaching engagement. But at the same time, it's the holidays and they're already disconnecting. So I'm trying to like pack it in and provide value before I leave.
Yeah.
And they're just like, bye-bye, I'm checked out already.
I'm gone.
So and you know, I just take it as it is and don't take it personal, but there's something to do that with that. So what's the biggest struggle with working remotely? There was a report, and this one that we had was the State of Remote report in 2019. And the top one was 22% was unplugging after work.
Yeah.
And 19% was loneliness.
Yeah.
And the third one was collaborating and communication. And so think about what games do that can address these top three.
I think those were, and they still are, because what happened is we first started to work from home and from wherever, really, and then we had to figure out how that's going to work long term. So that's why you have all of these three. And I think so you can do quizzes for whenever you have your team meetings. And by the way, your team meetings, do them for work and do them for non-work related stuff, like these games, like this, because they spark different kinds of discussions. So you can do quizzes, and it can be a quiz on matching facts to your colleagues or to the people on your team, or it can be trivia quizzes. These work great, especially for now, for traditions, for celebrations. Yeah, exactly. They work so great, and especially for now, where you have, especially for teams that are diverse, You can talk about traditions and ways to celebrate stuff, and then you find out so much about each
Yeah.
other and each other's traditions. I love that.
And I have to say though, even though I'm going to go there because I mentioned Kahoot. Kahoot used to be very easy, accessible, and free. Well, because of the pandemic, their stock must have went up. It's not free anymore, guys. So if any of you know, and to help the community, what other applications that were similar to Kahoot that is free that will allow some fun revealing trivia quizzes. And so this is my ask and engaging is please share with people, put it in the comments, whatever platform that you're in. And because I think that is something great that everyone can know. And what we'll do is anybody that puts those comments in, we'll make sure that we drop it in our YouTube channel so people can access and see what people have shared.
Yeah.
So the next one is photo of your life. You know, you never really think about that being a game where people share photos.
Oh yeah, I love this one. Love it. Photos from, I don't know, your best holiday, or your I don't know, Christmas with your family, best top 3 Christmases with your family, photos of you when you were young, photos of, it can be anything. Photos of I remember at my husband's job when the whole lockdown started, they had this WhatsApp group and they were sharing photos with the pets. Everybody in the group, and it was they were having so much fun and they were also learning about each other.
But here's the fun part of the game. You're not telling the story of the photo in this.
Yeah, exactly.
So you share your photo, and it could be of your dog, it could be a picture of a vacation, your favorite, coffee mug, Yeah. And then someone from the group actually creates a story around it. Now, how fun is that? Now, those of you that are in creative groups, this will just probably could go a little sideways. So just be mindful how crazy I get here. But how fun would that be? Because you're basically taking a picture and telling a story around it. So that one I thought was fun.
Yeah.
Because if you have very creative, humorous, which humor is so important bringing into the workplace, that could be a lot of fun where you might do some belly aching on that one. And then your good old, very traditional cookie cutter virtual games. And there's a lot of them that are out there.
Yeah.
You got Pictionary, charades.
Exactly. And then I love the drawing the picture. Actually, I use that a lot in my training sessions. That can be used in face-to-face, but it can be used virtually. And actually, virtually, it's more fun because it's more complicated. And you get to, somebody describes a picture and everybody draws what they hear and then they show it. And when they show it, it's going to be, you can imagine that you're going to get different types of artwork from everybody, depending on what they understood. And then also depending on their drawing skills. I mean, that's for sure. That's fun.
And this is where Zoom or whatever web, like video conferencing that you're doing, makes it so much easier to do these virtual online games because you can see each other.
Yeah, exactly.
And you will be doing the activity there at your place, your desk, in your space, and you can show that. So don't try to always try to digitize everything, especially if you have video.
Yeah.
Because they could be doing things in their station and they just share. So a lot of times people will try to make it perfect and make this fancy digital. Okay. Have you ever gotten people to try to draw on the drawing boards and they don't have anything fancy in their conferencing tool, right? Now that's a hot mess.
Wow, exactly. No, that's pen and paper. That's it.
Yeah. So go old school. Don't try to get too fancy.
No.
Now, Words with Friends is another number 4. And this one actually is an app that you can pair up with employees to have matches against one another. And this is kind of fun because it's like an online version of Scrabble.
Mhm.
So it's those of you that like to play Scrabble and kind of do those things, that might be something.
Yeah.
And
I love it because it enhances collaboration, right? Because we need to work together on that. So that's awesome as well for not just
and
for
if you're not really
communication.
sure with the group what kind of game,
Mhm.
throw out a list and then have people
Oh
vote
yeah,
on it.
exactly. With
So
democracy.
don't strain too much if you're like, oh, I wanted, but I'm not really sure what they will like. Well, why don't you give them a
Yeah.
list, a quick description of them, just in case, don't assume
Mhm.
they know, and have them vote. Which one do you want to play, guys?
Yep.
Solve that problem. Now, 3 truths and a lie. What is this? Almost like truth or dare?
Yes, sort of, but it's like, and it works very well with Zoom. So you ask each employee, each person on your team to tell 3 truths and 1 lie about themselves. And then, but the whole point is to keep the lie realistic, right? So that people don't guess. And then the other people on the team need to guess which are the truths and which is the lie. You can do it not necessarily 3 truths and a lie. It can be 1 truth, 1 lie, and then you have to guess. But the point of the game is that the other people, they can ask you questions about both or about the truth and the lie, and then so that they can figure out which is the truth and which is the lie. And that enhances also questioning skills and your communication skills, apart from having fun. But as the person who tells the lie, be ready to develop that a little bit, because people are going to ask questions. So you have to have some kind of, that's why you need to keep
It's improv.
yeah, that's why you need to keep it realistic, so you can come up and build some elements, some descriptive elements to it.
Yeah, I can see 2 types having fun with that part of it. Is somebody that actually is a poker player or something where you have to be able to be very coy, right?
Yep.
Don't reveal.
Yeah.
Or someone that is into acting.
Yeah, exactly.
Would enjoy
have
that.
liked to be an actor and isn't, and now
Because your face, and the only reason why I'm saying this, okay, yeah, I might be like, because this is how I am. If you start to watch the person's facial expressions, they actually will tell you which one's a lie or truth, those of you that are getting more into it. And as I'm getting into it more, especially with neuro-linguistic programming, your body, your language is going to tell you. So those that are good poker players, which they learn how to manage that, and those that act are probably the best ones that are going to get away with that game.
Yeah.
But I think it would be kind of fun knowing me, and I don't know if you're probably the same, as being a strategist. I loved playing Clue. I think that would be fun and a challenge, right? I think I'd like to be on the other end, not the person telling, the lie, the truth, but the one that was clever enough to figure it out. That's me. Bucket list challenge is number 6.
That's an obvious one, right? You can do all sorts of challenges related to whatever it is that you want to do as an organization. You can use it for whatever, also link it to a purpose that you have. So here, really, the world is your oyster. And you can also ask people on the team, okay, what do we do the bucket list challenge on? It can be anything, right?
Yeah, and so here is one: the aliens have landed. And this works really well if you have breakout room functionality, or you just set up separate sessions, so then you can create the breakouts independently. So either way works. I'm just kind of getting technical on that, so if you're not thinking about that. But what you do is you split up the groups. So if you have a small team, maybe it's just 2 people, right? You at least you want someone to collaborate with at a minimum. And what you're going to end up doing is they don't speak English. So you have to use images. I think of like you're one of those movies where they're like drawing on the sand and, and trying to communicate with people that, don't know the language. And so you're trying to explain your company to these aliens. And so all by images. Now imagine that. So that one's that game, which kind of can be funny because it makes you kind of wonder, like where their heads went and how they see and perceive the company.
Exactly.
Might even get into other, conversations around that and kind of be funny about it, especially if there is something. Some companies have like fun things that they do or things that make people laugh, like especially in your department, like maybe you get play tricks on people or do whatever. So it'd be very interesting what they come up with. Movie night. Now that one's a pretty number 8's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, really. I mean, come on. But it's fun also, right? I mean, it can be, and it really takes everybody out of isolation differently. So, and you can do watch parties now. It's also, and you have, each of you has their own popcorn or soda or whatever it is. But you can also comment as you watch the movie together, right? So that's the fun part of it.
And donut conversation.
Well, this is, I don't know. What I like about the idea in this one is that, you can talk about pretty much anything. And it can also be that we laugh together as well. So what the way it works is you just pair up team members every 1 to 4 weeks, right? And then the people, they can bond better. I use it, for instance, when I work with teams for training and coaching. I use this and I call it buddy groups. And you pair them into these buddy groups so that they can bond better one-on-one, and then have non-related non-work related conversations, right? They can talk about anything. So
that's the rule of the game, is non-work related.
Non-work, exactly. And they can, I don't know, they can either live in the same city or not. It really, or work in the same department or not. You get to decide, because you also rotate them, or you can either randomly pair them up, or you can then rotate them, and they get to know each other in a non-work related context.
Now, our last one is total connection in real time. So this is pretty much the multiple games building so that, and this one is really just combining all of them in truth. Now, and there's a very simple game that isn't in our top 10 list, is tabletop questions. I have like 2 of them. And I bring them a lot in my engagements to break the ice, and they're kind of fun because it gets you out of work questions.
Yeah.
So if you're not really sure what questions to use to kind of spark, tabletop questions. I recommend, especially when I was in the Agile world, Scrum Masters, Agile coaches, anybody that really has to work in a team thing, or even if you're a people leader, right? Anything that you are always having to work with teams and project managers. The table topics is great. I say buy one. And if you ever have a party or you're doing things with a group of people, you can use it even outside of work. So go for it, buy them. I have 2. I've done even a couple of videos with my happiness table topics on my channel. So I know that we're going to start wrapping up here and closing. So
I just want to say that that's the beauty of using the games, and especially when we talk about remote games, you can actually use them for whenever you can meet with your friends, with your family that might not live in the same city as you and stuff like that. So you can use these games not just for work, but also for your family/friends meetings. And you will benefit from them a lot, and then you can see what you're getting from both sides and see how that benefits you. But I think it's another way of looking at what can we do to get out of isolation and really feel that we connect with people.
Definitely. And to sum it all up, we started the conversation of why, and I
Yeah.
think that you did that, package that up well of what you just said. We covered, these are things that were games to get tuned out of work, but it's not the only thing that you use games for. And there's a lot of books that are out there about, it's one called Game Storming. That's one book. There's a lot of them that are out there that helps you design activities that are work related. So that's like a whole other segment. So that was one thing that we brought up, that games aren't just for not doing work. And then these top 10s that we have here today. So that's kind of what we shared, is to get people to start thinking about for the month of December.
Yeah.
Now, what's going on in your neck of woods? Cannot talk with the your neck of woods, Roxana, with the All Personal. What's going on with you?
So by the way, this week is the last week that I have, sorry, the wrong caption. The free bite-sized masterclass series for people who manage people in teams. So and today we're talking about the power of community for high performance, and tomorrow we're talking about higher purpose and how that helps with engagement, motivation, and inclusion. So stay tuned for today and tomorrow. If you want to get all of the previous week's resources, you also get a link where you can access all of that. Which leads me, because we're talking about the power of community in high performance, I strongly encourage you to check the Lead for Legacy League, which is the online training and group coaching program that I have for management and leadership development. And it has an awesome offer by 15th of December, because, hey, it's a season of giving. So I'm doing 12 days of Christmas, which is the continuation of the Black Friday. So join me in this program. If you want to check it out, if you want to hear more about it, just DM me and I'm happy to talk about it and let you know more. But if you're mid to senior manager that wants to grow, that wants to develop, and also in great company, this program is for you. Get the same kind of treatment the CEOs get.
And I think that's the thing to stress is this is emulating what usually upper management has access to.
Yeah.
And so this is the middle management, is what we typically term it in corporations. Or if you are an owner, which becomes very hard to get those types of access, because they're quite expensive.
Yeah.
And you do have either a couple employees, or if you have a manager, this is a great program for them. So I just wanted to put that plug in.
Yeah.
And
all right. So what's up with you, Veronica?
So for me right now, I'm gearing up for January. So I'm taking it easy a little bit here in December, in truth. But what I'm doing right now is weekly live Tuesday night at 7 p.m. I stream on YouTube and Facebook. I have also, I think, Periscope and Twitch, but my main channel is YouTube, as you can see there. Subscribe to ReThink with Veronica. And what we're actually talking about in these live weekly sessions is all about people that are ready for change. And change could be, I'm changing my career. I am changing because I'm really ready to be an entrepreneur. And the thing is, all of these people, as what we call game changers, have this entrepreneur mindset. Yeah. They know that they like to be creative. They like to actually have choice. They are really wanting to understand how to be in either organizations, because they're really not ready to be a business owner. Right, that's not the path that they want to go, but they want to align themselves with organizations that are aligned with their purpose and values, and also that will help them thrive with somebody that has an entrepreneur mindset. Then the other half is the people that are trying to figure out being an entrepreneur. And so we're going to talk about all these things about mindset and what you need before you start jumping in to the tactical things. And so that is what I focus on a lot in my weekly Mojo sessions. And I'll share some of my stories, and we'll have some special guests.
Yeah, I love your Mojo sessions because you're asking some pretty powerful questions, and it's exactly that. It's maybe if you have an entrepreneurial mind, maybe you don't want to necessarily be an entrepreneur, but then what do you do so that you are happy and engaged and motivated, and find that company that you really resonate with and that you match from the values and culture point of view. So I think that's
And I have my stories of depression and things that I've dealt with because I wasn't getting it, and how I kept jumping from job to job to job, searching for it.
Yeah.
And now I'm actually going through my next shift and journey of really trying to deal and wrap my head around the stresses of being your own business owner. And so that's kind of where I am today, is going through that journey. So I'm going to share all the journeys that I've had, but it's always been, and I never put a label on it because I don't think it existed years ago. The word entrepreneur, I mean, it didn't really become prevalent until recently, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And anyways, I'm going off topic, getting into it. So come join me on my YouTube channel. And we're going to really kick things off in 2021, but I'm just priming things right now in my weekly. So come over and check it out. If you are somebody that has that itch of an entrepreneur mindset and you're trying to figure out where you need to go, that's going to best suit your life and your needs, come over.
Yeah. Okay. Wrapping it up. Don't forget, subscribe to our YouTube channel. You're getting all of the videos that we've done so far, and the description. In the description of the videos, you will be getting also the link to the article that we mentioned today, so that you can use all of these ideas with your team, in your business, in your organization, or with your friends and family. You choose.
All right. See you guys on Friday.
See you. We have a special guest.
Oh, improv.
God, I need to. Yeah. So on Friday, it's the Improv for Business, and we're gonna have a super special guest, an actor and a coach and a trainer. He's awesome. You'll see. So stay tuned.
I almost forgot that. Me. I'm like, okay, we're already 3 minutes over. We better get off. But when do I ever follow the rules? Hello, that's moi.
No rules.
I break the rules. What are you kidding me? Or I create new ones.
Okay.
All right. See you guys
Friday.